The rain was falling hard that night. Thunder roared across the sky, and lightning flashed like angry fire. On the porch of a small countryside house sat a dog, soaked, shivering, and alone. His eyes stared at the empty driveway, refusing to blink. 4 or 5 long years, he waited, every single day, every single night. But no one came. People in town called him Ghost. But to himself, he was still Max, the loyal companion of a boy who once promised, "I'll be back soon, buddy." But the boy never returned. Or so it seemed. 10 years ago, in a sleepy rural town surrounded by wide-open fields and slow-moving rivers, a boy named Daniel lived with his parents, and his golden retriever puppy, Maximum Daniel, had received Max as a birthday gift when he turned 8. From that very moment, something clicked between them. They were inseparable. Where Daniel went, Max followed. Whether it was fishing by the stream, racing bicycles down dirt roads, or simply sitting on the porch watching the stars, Max was always there. To Daniel, Max was more than a pet. He was his best friend, his shadow, his partner in every adventure. Daniel was a quiet, thoughtful boy, often shy around other kids. But with Max, he was completely himself. They would spend hours running through the fields, chasing butterflies, or lying in the grass watching clouds float by. On cold nights, Max would curl up at Daniel's feet, keeping him warm. On stormy evenings, Daniel would whisper his fears to Max, knowing the dog understood in his own silent way. Every morning, Max would walk Daniel to the school bus stop, then sit and watch until the bus disappeared around the bend. Every afternoon, at exactly 3 p.m., he would wait at the gate, tail wagging, ready to welcome Daniel home. But one afternoon, Daniel didn't return. Daniel had gone on a school trip, a weekend camping adventure into the mountains with his classmates. Max had whined and scratched at the fence as the school bus pulled away. Daniel had leaned out the window, waving and shouting, "I'll be back soon, Max. I promise." That promise echoed in Max's ears for days. The next morning brought terrible news. The bus had veered off a slippery road during a rainstorm and crashed into a ravine. Emergency crews rushed to the scene. There were survivors, but Daniel wasn't among them, or so everyone believed. His body was never found. Daniel's parents were shattered. The house grew quiet and cold. His room remained untouched, as if he might walk back in any moment. But Max didn't understand what death meant. He only knew his best friend had gone somewhere and hadn't come back. Max waited by the gate the next day, and the next, and the next. Every day, Max would walk in and out of Daniel's room, sniffing the air, hoping to find some sign of him. When he couldn't, he would lie down by the door and fall asleep, dreaming of the last day he saw Daniel. As months passed, the seasons changed, and the world moved on. But Max's routine never did. Every day, he'd walk to the bus stop at 3 p.m., lie down, and wait. Neighbors watched, hearts aching. Some left out food and water. Children from the nearby school would sit beside him, petting his head. But Max never played. He never wagged his tail. He was always watching, waiting. Years rolled by. Daniel's parents eventually moved away, unable to bear the memories. They tried to take Max, but he slipped out of the car and ran back to that bus stop. Every time someone adopted him, he would escape and return to the same spot. The townspeople began calling him Ghost because he was always there, silent, loyal, and full of grief. But in Max's mind, he wasn't lost. He wasn't waiting for a ghost. He was waiting for his boy, his best friend. Max's body grew older, but his heart stayed young. Each afternoon, he perked up his ears at the sound of tires on gravel. He believed with all his soul that one day Daniel would return. And so he waited, with aching bones, with fading eyes, with faith that never broke. Some said dogs forget, but Max remembered everything. 5 years had gone by. Max was older now. His golden fur had turned gray around the muzzle. His legs were slower, and his eyes weren't as sharp. But every day, without fail, he walked to the same spot. Rain, snow, or sunshine, it didn't matter. Then one day, everything changed. The town postman delivered an envelope with shaky handwriting. It was addressed to Daniel's old home. The new resident, recognizing the name, handed it to the mayor. Inside was a letter. To anyone who knows Max, "My name is Daniel. I was in that crash 5 years ago. I wasn't killed, but I lost my memory. 4 years. I didn't know who I was. Recently, it all came back. My home, my family, my dog, Max. I don't know if he's still alive, but if he is, please tell him I'm coming home. Tears were shed across town. People gathered in small groups, whispering, hoping. Could it really be him? Was it possible? The mayor read the letter aloud at the town square. There was stunned silence, then clapping, cheering, crying. Max sat in the distance, not understanding the words, but sensing something had changed. The answer came just days later. Max sat at the bus stop like always. The breeze was warm that afternoon. Birds chirped nearby, and the sun cast long shadows across the pavement. Then a black SUV pulled up. A tall young man stepped out. His face was scarred, and he walked with a limp, but his eyes were full of hope. "Max!" he whispered. Max's ears twitched. He turned slowly. Their eyes met. Daniel took one step forward. "It's me, Buddy. It's really me." Max let out a long, broken whimper, then sprinted. His legs didn't move like they used to, but his heart did. He crashed into Daniel, barking, whining, licking his face as if to say, "I knew you'd come back." Daniel dropped to his knees, sobbing. The townspeople stood in silence, many crying. After 5 years, man and dog were finally reunited. Daniel whispered into Max's ear, "I never stopped dreaming of you." Daniel moved back into the house. He restored Max's favorite corner. The two spent every day making up for lost time. Walks through the woods, quiet nights by the fire, long naps together on the porch. Daniel spoke often about the memories that came flooding back. Max as a puppy stealing socks, Max barking at squirrels, Max howling at Daniel's guitar playing. Max, now old and tired, seemed to smile again. His steps were slower, but his eyes were full of peace. He had done what no one believed possible. He had waited long enough, hoped hard enough, and love brought Daniel home. One evening, with the sky painted in orange and purple, Max lay beside Daniel on the porch. He rested his head on Daniel's lap and gave a soft sigh. Daniel stroked his fur and whispered, "Thank you for waiting for me." Max gave one final breath, then slept. His mission was complete. Daniel held him in his arms for hours. The town lit candles outside their homes to honor Max, the dog who waited. His grave was placed beneath the big oak tree where they used to play, with a plaque that read, "Max, the dog who waited, the friend who never forgot." Max's story isn't just about a dog. It's about what real loyalty means. In a world where people forget so easily, this dog remembered every day. He waited with faith that defied time. He didn't need words. He didn't need promises. He only needed love. Would your best friend wait 5 years for you? Because this one did. Dove has shared this story if you believe in the power of love, loyalty, and never giving up hope. Let Max remind us that love never truly leaves. It waits. And sometimes it brings us home.